pick up the question paper of any year, you can definitely find a question of SN1 and SN2 reaction. So it's very important for all of you guys, as it will help you to add 4 more marks to your score, and it will help you to change your rank by thousands. So without wasting any time, let's get started. जनरली बच्चों को प्रॉब्लम होती है इन डिफरेंशिएटिंग बिटवीन SN1 एंड SN2 रिएक्शन. They will simply give you a reaction and they will ask you whether it is SN1 or SN2. तो कैसे हमें डिफरेंशिएट करना है SN1 and SN2 को, what is the reaction mechanism, or what are all important points which you need to remember, everything will be discussed in the video. So just keep watching till the end. So first we have the SN2 reaction. So SN2. SN2 means substitution, nucleophilic and biomolecular. So it is also known as ANDN. Now what does this mean? ANDN means association of the nucleophile first and then the dissociation. Let us understand this with an example. Suppose we have this substrate and this is any nucleophile. So here this nucleophile will attack first from the back side, and this carbon will get a partial negative charge, and then this nucleophile will dissociate away. This is our transition state. So here one thing which you need to notice is that the inversion of the configuration has taken place. That means nucleophile was attached on the right hand side initially, but now it is attached on the right hand side. That means the inversion of the configuration has taken place. So the important points about this reaction is, first the nucleophile will associate and then the nucleophile will dissociate, and also the backside attack of nucleophile take place and inversion of the configuration also take place. So here carbon has attained partial negative charge. So whenever electron withdrawing group are attached, its rate of reaction will increase. Like of here we have to compare the rate of SN2 reaction. So in this compound, SN2 will be faster as electron withdrawing group is attached at the para position. As carbon attain partial negative charge in the transition state, so electron withdrawing group will increase the rate of the reaction. Here we have to compare the rate of reaction of these compounds. So whenever nucleophile will attack on the carbon, this will get a partial negative charge. Similarly, this will also get a partial negative charge when any nucleophile attacks on this carbon. So here these methyl groups by plus I effect will make this partial negative charge unstable. That is why its rate of reaction will be less. Third, then we have this second compound where 2 methyl groups are there, here 3 methyl groups are there, so this will be more unstable and its rate of reaction will be less. And then first will be very reactive. Here we have nucleophile is attached on this carbon which is 1 degree. Here this carbon is 3 degree and this carbon is 2 degree. So the rate of SN2 reaction also depends on the steric hindrance. Here it is a 3 degree carbon, So nucleophile will not be able to attack that much effectively. That's why its rate of reaction will be the least. Then we have this 2 degree. This will react more faster. And then we have this 1 degree carbon, which will react fastest. Here we have this group attached on this carbon, which is electron withdrawing group. So this will make the partial negative charge on this carbon when nucleophile will attack more stable. That's why its reactivity will be the fastest. Then here we have this ethyl group attached on this carbon, and here we have this ethene. So ethene will show -I effect, which will make the partial negative charge stable. So that's why third will be more reactive than second. Hope you understood the rate of reactions of these compounds. Now we will try to understand the kinetic experiment of SN2 reaction. Suppose we have the nucleophile NaOH and our substrate is CH3I. So when NaOH will attack, we will get this. So here this is our nucleophile, this is our substrate. So the rate of the reaction will depend on the concentration of the nucleophile as well as on the concentration of the substrate. That means if the concentration of substrate is doubled, the rate of the reaction will also get doubled. Or if the concentration of nucleophile gets doubled or tripled, the rate of reaction will also get tripled. So here the rate of reaction will depend on the concentration of both the nucleophile and the substrate. Also, here the rate of reaction will depend on the ability of the leaving group. Like we have RF, so what will be the rate of reaction of these compounds? So here Ri will react the fastest, and then here this will react fastest because iodine is largest, and size of iodine is greatest. That's why this bond length will be greater and it will be easy to break the bond. So this will react the fastest, then RBr, then RCl, and then RF. As the leaving group ability will increase, the rate of reaction of SN2 as well as SN1 reaction will increase. Now we will study about SN1 reaction. So what is SN1? SN1 means substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. It is also known as DN plus AN. Now what does this DN plus AN mean? DN plus AN means dissociation of the nucleophile first and then the association. Now what does this mean? Suppose this is our nucleophile and this is our substrate. So here first this nucleophile will dissociate from this methyl group and we will get a partial positive charge on this carbon. Now here the nucleophile can attack from both the directions, from here as well as from here. So here we will get this CH3OH group. So here we will get partial positive charge on the carbon, whereas in SN2 reaction we were getting the partial negative charge. So here the rate of reaction will increase by the electron donating groups. If electron donating group is attached to the substrate, that will increase the rate of the reaction, and here the nucleophile can attack from both the directions, whereas in SN1 only backside attack was possible. Hope you understood this much in SN1 reactions. Now we will try to understand the kinetics of SN1 reaction also. So suppose this is our substrate and this is our nucleophile. So here what we will get this. So here the rate of the reaction will only depend on the concentration of the substrate. It will not depend on the concentration of the nucleophile. So when we increase the concentration of nucleophile, the rate of reaction will not increase, as it will only depend on the concentration of our substrate. Now we have some compounds which neither participate in SN1 nor SN2 reactions. Like we have the compounds like these. So this will not participate in SN1 or SN2 reaction, because if the nucleophile gets removed, it will get a positive charge over here, and this will be unstable at the bridgehead carbon atom. And if SN2 reactions take place, then we will get partial negative charge over here, and inversion of the configuration is not possible at the bridgehead. That's why neither SN1 nor SN2 reaction is possible in this compound. Here, this carbon halogen bond will get partial double bond character by resonance. That's why it will also not react in SN1 and SN2 reaction. And this compound, aryl halides, will also not react by SN1 and SN2 reaction. Now, how we will identify whether it is a SN1 or SN2 reaction. So, we have basically 3 points. First is that we have to identify whether the nucleophile is present or absent. If a nucleophile is present, then it would be SN2 reaction, and if the nucleophile is absent, then it would be a SN1 reaction. I will tell you with the help of an example. But now the second point is we have to identify the nature of the solvent. If the solvent is polar aprotic, it would be SN2 reaction, and if the solvent is polar protic, it will be a SN1 reaction. Third point is 3-degree carbon will generally give SN1 reaction, and 1-degree carbon will generally give SN2 reaction. So these are the 3 points which will help you to differentiate SN1 reaction from SN2 reaction. So here are some examples which will help us to understand SN1 and SN2 reactions better. So our first example is, in our first example we have the nucleophile NaSMe and a polar aprotic solvent DMSO. So this will be our SN2 reaction, because for SN2 reaction we should have a nucleophile and our solvent should be polar aprotic. So here inversion of the reaction will take place and SMe will get attached over here. Then we have our second example in which we do not have any nucleophile and our solvent is polar protic ETOH. So here the reaction will be SN1. In third example again, we do not have any solvent and we only have we do not have any nucleophile, we only have a solvent H2O. So this will be a SN1 reaction, and OH will attack from both the sides. So here we will get 2 products. Then we have our last example, which is very important. Here we have one equivalent of NaSMe and the solvent is DMF, which is a polar aprotic solvent. And here the nucleophile is present, so this reaction will be SN2. Here we have two nucleophile, chlorine and also this chlorine. But here we only have one equivalent of NaSMe. So where this will attack? As the reaction is SN2, so this will attack where there is less steric hindrance. So this will attack on this chlorine atom and we will get inversion of the configuration will take place and we will get this compound. So how we determine whether it is a SN1 or SN2 reaction? So first of all, we have to see whether the nucleophile is present or absent. If the nucleophile is present and also our solvent should be polar aprotic for SN2. Here we do not have any nucleophile and our solvent is polar protic. So this will be our SN1 reaction. So similarly here, so EDOH and H2O, these are the polar protic solvent. So the reaction will be SN1. Here the solvent are polar aprotic, DMF and DMSO. So the reaction will be SN2. Now we will try to understand SN1 and SN2 with the help of some more examples. So our first example is this. We have the nucleophile NaCN and a polar aprotic solvent DMF. So obviously this will be our SN2 reaction. But now here we have two chlorine atoms. So where will this nucleophile NaCN will attack? As you know, in SN2, in transition state, we have partial negative character. So where there is electron withdrawing group attached, this nucleophile will attack over there. So here OMe is a electron donating group and NO2 is a electron withdrawing group. So obviously this nucleophile NaCN will attack on this chlorine atom and our SN2 reaction will take place. Now our second example, there is a nucleophile, there is a polar aprotic solvent, so this reaction will be SN2. Here also we have two chlorine atoms. As you know, in SN2, the nucleophile will attack on that carbon atom where there is less steric hindrance. So this is our 1 degree carbon atom and this is our 3 degree carbon atom. So obviously this nucleophile NaCN will attack on this carbon atom and we will get this product. Now in third example, we do not have any nucleophile. We only have a polar protic solvent. So this will be our SN1 reaction. As you know that this aryl halide do not give SN1 or SN2 reaction. So this MEOH will have to attack on this carbon only and we will get this product. So we have to remember 3 points to distinguish between SN1 and SN2. So our first point is we have to check whether there is any nucleophile or not. If there is a nucleophile present, then it would be our SN2 reaction. If there is not any nucleophile, then it will be our SN1 reaction. Then our point number 2 is we have to check the nature of the solvent. If the solvent is polar protic, then it will be our SN1 reaction. If the solvent is polar aprotic, then it will be SN2 reaction. Third point which we have to keep in mind is that the 1 degree carbon atom will prefer to give SN2 reaction and 3-degree carbon atom will prefer to give SN1 reaction. Hope now you understood how to differentiate between SN1 and SN2 reaction and the reaction mechanism. So this is all for this video. Keep watching the videos, subscribe to the channel. Thank you.